Ian, something arrived in the mail for you last week, huh?
Yeah, it's a little longer of a podcast. Got the Playdate. So the Playdate is the little yellow handheld with the crank on the side.
You turn the crank and watch the plank.
By Panic. And this was announced in, I think, 2018, 2019.
It's been a while.
2018 or 2019. And I was excited to pre-order it. It's by a company called Panic that I don't know. However, the first time that from the very moment I saw it,
Panic did Untitled Goose Game, right?
No. That's House. Panic might have published it.
I'm gonna publish it. Go on, Ian. I'll find it.
Anyway, from the moment I laid eyes on it, I said, this looks like a Teenage Engineering product. Teenage Engineering is a Swedish design house. They're known for doing audio equipment. They do speakers. They've done synthesizers. They've done modular synthesizers. I own the OP1 and a couple of their portable synthesizers. And they have a very specific design look to them. And they love cranks. The OP1, one of the original accessories you could buy for the OP1 is a set of cranks and gears that you can actually put on the knobs so you can turn and control your synth parameters with a crank, basically adjusting everything at once. So I saw the crank, I saw the design, and I said, that's got to be Teenage Engineering. Sure enough, they designed it, or they're part of the design team. The other thing that got a hold of me was the way in which they decided to talk about how they were going to be releasing games. They wanted to do seasons. They wanted to do a season of 12 games. That was initially what they wanted to do. And you'd get the system with one game unlocked. And then each week, another game would unlock.
Sure.
I really, really liked this idea in theory, because much like the episodic TV formula, it's a way to make sure that everyone is talking about the games at the same time. So if everyone's got the Playdate, and a great game unlocks, everyone's going to be focusing on that game, talking about that game, potentially, sharing strategies and scores, competing on that game.
Impressions in the same time.
Yeah. It's a nice thing to do. It's fun to enjoy something at the same time everyone else is discovering it brand new. And then there was the announcement of the people who would be involved. Some of the names that were mentioned were Kaida Takahashi, who made Katamari Damacy, Zach Gage, who made one of my favorite word games, Spell Tower, is going to have a game on there. So they came forth with an interesting concept. They came forth with people behind the games. They showed some demos of the games.
They got devs on board early.
early.
On the concept.
They got the devs talking about the stuff early. And it looked like something that I'd be interested in. They announced it as black and white, no backlight, small crank, 2 buttons, D-pad. And I had some questions, namely about the lack of backlight and the lack of buttons, could be a hindrance later on, but it looked to be interesting. So anyways, fast forward after a long wait and a rollout that I wasn't super happy with, and definitely talked about that on the podcast. I finally have it in my hands and I have a lot of thoughts. The build quality, the first thing you notice when you take it out is it's really nicely designed. It feels solid. The buttons and the D-pad have a great click and feel to them.
Feels nice.
I was a little concerned about the D-pad from pictures, but I like the way the D-pad has the little raised edges. It goes up a little bit on the ends, so it makes the 4 corners feel tactile, and it's easy to slide your thumb around on the D-pad. The buttons feel great.
It's a real D-pad, no circular thing behind it to me, so it's nice.
I think the crank feels fantastic. The crank is going to be something that is going to be different for everyone. They had to settle on, one resistance style, loose and tough to crank.
Sure.
I really like it. I think it feels very smooth. Pat doesn't like it as much. He thinks it feels, the way you describe the problem is that you think it feels a little loose. Because
I
the
say
looser it is, the more the more you're gonna fall down.
Yeah, in terms of the resistance to
Pat does not love the down motion on it.
I don't like the down motion, but it's fine. Like it's fine.
And the down motion is, like I said, the looser it is, the more you're going to notice that down motion. That's why I would
prefer slightly more resistance, not lose. Just slightly more resistance. Probably when it hits the system. But I think it's well made. It's a piece of metal there.
Yeah.
The end is a piece of plastic, but that's fine.
Yeah, I don't think it feels
break.
I don't think it feels particularly fragile. It folds into the little you can fold it down into the nub in the side so it stays flat against it.
There you go. I just figured it out.
And then and then you can close the case over the top of it. So I think the build quality is good. I've been playing it constantly, and I've gotten no squeaking out of the crank. It hasn't gotten looser or tighter. Nothing feels weird. I've been
probably good ball bearing in there. Yeah.
I have a feeling that they must have tested that on a machine for
a million.
Yeah, a million trillion turns.
Yeah.
The screen. So this is where I know some people had some problems with it. I can't deny that a backlight would be nice. That said, other than being like, when you're a kid trying to play Game Boy in the back of a car at night, other than being in the back of a car at night or trying to play this when you're sleeping and laying down in bed, I have had zero issues seeing it, and I have shitty eyes. I've had zero issues seeing it in any room where I have any amount of ambient light. And I was initially concerned because I thought the battery life was going to be pretty low on it. It's not super long, but I now understand that screen to be a battery saving measure.
Sure. It's like a Kindle. How a Kindle can run for 100 hours.
I was definitely more concerned because I thought I'd read somewhere that the battery life's not super long, and it doesn't seem like it's crazy long. But I did use it for a long time. I think I understand the trade-off. Also, when you look at it in the light, that screen is fucking gorgeous.
It looks fine.
I have no idea how to describe it, but it's got that silvery sheen to the back of it, and the contrast between, and I think that's a big part of it. The contrast between the black and the white it's extremely stark.
So I'm playing Birdwatcher, Ian. I just took a picture.
Casual birder.
I just took a picture of a black-bodied bobby, and the words on the description are very tiny font, but I can read them. They're clear as day.
Yes.
They're clear. It's a tiny font, but I have no problem reading it, and I'm an old man.
So, I don't want to excuse it, but if the difference is a 4-hour battery life or an 8-hour battery life,
you'll take the 8. Absolutely.
I'll take the 8-hour, and I really don't think it's like I was nervous when I saw Jason do his review. Metal Jesus did his review. And some other people were complaining about it. I was like, oh no, is this like impossible to see? No. And I think for most people, it's an annoyance because it's a modern product and you expect a modern product to have it.
Yeah, I think that's more probably is just like what would be the cost of putting it back on. But to your point, the battery,
if it drains the battery, honestly, I wouldn't want it.
Because this is kind of small. This is about 2.5 inches across diagonally.
It fits in the palm of your hand size wise. I know a lot of people were like, it seemed like when the first round of impressions went around, a lot of people were surprised by the size of it. It's exactly the size I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I think when people realize this is a square, if you make this bigger, you're going to have all this empty space.
It's going to be stupidly chunky. Yeah.
It's going to be ridiculous. I think it's fine. Like I said, the buttons are clicky. The D-pad is nice. You always like a bigger D-pad, but I've seen smaller we've seen smaller D-pads and stuff.
Moving on, because I gotta wrap it up, and I got a lot of stuff I still need to talk about. Games. So if you don't, some people, and I'm one of them, if you don't want spoilers about what games come out in the season, stop listening. I'm going to talk about the first 4 games in the season, and I'm going to talk about some side-loaded stuff. Starts off with Whitewater Wipeout and Casual Birder. Whitewater Wipeout is by our friends Chuhai Labs. Mm-hmm. And I'm not just saying it. Whitewater Wipeout is exactly what I wanted to see out of the box on the Playdate, because it is simple. The controls are 99% crank based with nothing else, so it shows off the crank, and it's a high score attack game. All you do is go for a high score. It's very simple. The movement, it's a guy on a surfboard, and as you move the crank, it turns the nose of the surfboard. So basically you want to carve up and down the wave, and then you want to collect spins as you go off the top of the wave. And you can use the left and right buttons to tweak it a little bit to help your landing. But basically, it's all just with the crank. And when you get cooking on it and you start to pick up speed and you start to get combos going, it's a rush. It's a simple little rush, but it's exactly what I wanted. Casual Birder, I think, was a great...
This is cute.
I think Casual Birder was a great side game to put in there because you have something that's very pick up and play. We can do a couple of rounds. And then you have this interesting little mini RPG where you walk around in kind of each frame, each screen on the game once you get going into it. It's kind of a little puzzle. You have to figure out how to best take the picture of the bird.
You take a picture of a bird and then the crank looks
The
like
crank is focus.
Focus.
The crank is focus, but then you have to figure out the pattern of the bird on the screen. So you have to focus on the bird. Then you have to find out where the bird is going to appear, and you have to take some of the shots you have to take very, very quickly. Week 2 was Groovy Loops, I believe is what it's called.
I don't know how to get to the main menu. Hit the thing.
Hit the home button.
Home. Gotcha.
I think it's called Groovy Loops. Is a little music sequencer.
Boogie Loops.
Boogie Loops. It's a little music sequencer. I was playing with it last night. Hate to say it, I think it's really cute and fun, but I pumped the tempo up on it. I wanted to make like a faster track.
What is it? Is this like a sequencer?
It's a little sequencer.
Okay.
I pumped the tempo up to make like a faster like loop, and it kept like stalling or slowing down, or there'd be a skip when the loop would restart. So I don't know if it's just because I pumped it up too fast. It was maybe 160 BPM. That shouldn't have been too fast.
So it's more of a tool versus a game.
Oh, it's definitely just a tool.
It's an app.
But it's not. It doesn't run smoothly. You need music software to keep a 1, 2, 3, 4, not a 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
1.
It's buggy.
It doesn't play the loop back smooth. So unless that gets updated, I don't know that I'd get a whole lot of use out of that. Despite the fact that that's something I was really hoping to see on there. I was really hoping to see a little music program. And then the other one that I unlocked is Taita Takahashi's Crash. It's him and one other guy. Time Travel Adventures, which I think is incredibly unique. Absolutely the type of game he would create. When you start the first level, you crank it, and it's the one they showed in a lot of the promo images. It's a little guy made out of circles with a triangle hat. And as you crank it, he moves from his couch to a lady waiting for him who he's supposed to have a date with. Mm-hmm. And the first level, you just crank through. There's no obstacles. The second level, you crank through, and he encounters a flower, and you notice he bends over to sniff
There's
it.
preordained actions that
happen as you crank through these levels.
And a pig just hit me.
And then they start introducing obstacles or enemies that move. So you can crank forward or backward through the level, and he's always going to take the same action every time he hits an obstacle. Whether it's a flower, he's always going to smell it. He's always going to sit down to drink tea at a table, and you can go backwards and forwards to that motion, and you use those animations to dodge the enemies.
Sure.
It's extremely clever.
Can't pass his pig yet. Anyway,
it's a sneaky trick.
Okay.
You can sideload onto this. There's all sorts of little tech demos on itch.io. Sideloading is very easy. You register your Playdate to the Playdate website. You open up the Playdate website, and you literally just take the zip file you downloaded it, and you drag it onto the website, and the website beams it to you.
That's great.
It shows up as a gift, and you hit the button, and it opens, and boom, it's right there. So you can do that with any game that you download. And then lastly, I wish I had more to say about it, but I want to take my time with it because I think it's going to be a game I'm really going to like. A lot of people have liked it so far. Bloom. Bloom is the first commercial game for Playdate that's not included in any of the seasons. Mm-hmm. It's $9.99. It's by RNG Party. It's about a girl who runs a flower shop. I loved working in a flower shop, so I have to play it.
Sure.
But it's also real time, like Animal Crossing.
Sure.
Things happen in real time. So if you turn it on at night or open it during the morning, different things are going to happen. I hope to maybe do a writing in the future on that one. As far as concerns go, the crank It's fine now, but I mean, I'm not going to lie. If I say that I have no concerns about the crank, I want to know where these cranks are going to be at in a year. And I want to know if it's possible to replace this stuff.
I mean, the good news is that some people have had these for over 2 years now.
Sure.
Like you had the devs had these, journalists have gotten these like a year and a half ago.
So
at least.
there's definitely
like,
ones out there that have been
while.
put through it. I don't think I'm just saying it's a natural, it's a It's a piece off to the side.
But and you know, Teenage Engineering, like, you know, they have a good reputation. You've told me.
My shit is, I've never had any problems with my Teenage Engineering
You
products.
think that'd be the one thing they would get down right? Like this thing's going to last.
Like I said, they love cranks.
Yeah.
My bigger concern is, it's not so much a concern, but I think it's a failed opportunity. And this is where the future stuff comes into. Love what they've put out. Love what they're putting on it. This is exactly the kind of playful stuff that I wanted to see.
Sure.
I was not expecting deep involved games. I don't want deep involved
You just don't want them at all.
games on this. No, I have other shit for deep involved games.
But you don't mind if other people want it.
I don't mind it for other people.
you won't play.
But I'm just saying, this is a personal thing. I don't want deep involved games on this. I want seasons full of things like time travel adventures and Whitewater Wipeout. But there are people out there who have finally gotten these, and this was going to happen. There are people who have finally gotten these who have told me, they're like, I like it, but I'm just kind of disappointed in it. I'm let down. I don't enjoy the games I've played on it so far. We'll see what else is coming out.
They want some a little more meatier.
I think a lot of people wanted, and I understand it. I think it's just a matter of kind of being able to suss out what you're actually going to get when you're looking at it.
Sure.
They wanted, I think some people wanted more of a solid video game system. A video game system.
That's not how it was advertised.
No, and that's exactly it. It wasn't, and I don't know where they got that from. This is a toy, and I don't mean that in like a negative way, but it's called the Playdate, and it lives up to the name. It's a playful item. It's something that you keep in your pocket. It's amusing. It's fun, but it really is that kind of quick satisfaction.
Now we need to see where the ecosystem goes. If more games come out that are meatier games, well, then it's the software. You know, remember, software is what makes a system.
It is, and you can totally do that. You can totally get the kind of games that people want on here, and I think something like Bloom is going to be that way. One of the first games you get is Casual Birder. You may not like Casual the way it plays. I do.
I like it.
But no, I'm just saying someone out there may not like the way it plays, but it shows that you can do a meatier game.
Yeah.
Personally, that's not what I bought it for.
Sure.
So for me, I'm really enjoying it so far. I do think that there are a lot of people who are going to get to the end of the season. They might be disappointed.
I just got suplexed in the fourth date.
Yeah, it's fun. What I really want to see is, I hope this does well. I hope people hold on to them. I hope the fact that people have to wait forever to get them doesn't stop money flowing. I want to see a season 2 done the way everyone wanted to see season 1 done. I wanted this because of the software, but I really wanted to experience the season of games with everyone all at once.
At the same time.
And I know a lot of people did. Yeah. And the way Playdate has done this rollout, I don't
like it.
Some people like it, some people don't. It really is a matter of personal preference. I wish you could choose. The seasons start for you when you get the system. So I got mine on Wednesday. I turned it on. I got my games. Now, on Monday, yesterday, I got 2 new games. So once you register it, it looks like everyone gets new games on Monday.
You rather catch up.
The way that they sent them all out and how slow the send out has been, Frank's got games. Frank's on week 4 or 5.
Sure. So
Kelsey should only be on week 3 or something, but Frank actually asked Playdate to hold back his games so he could be on the same time span as Kelsey.
Okay.
I know other people who have these, but I don't know anyone who got one at the same time as me. So discussion is either I need to talk to them about games that they already played for a whole week, or they're going to spoil the games that are coming out, and I'm not going to have anything surprising to look forward to. So I think the true idea of what this was supposed to be would be best realized in a season 2 that starts at the same time for everyone. Yeah. They needed an option here, because I'll tell you right now, if the option for me was lose some of the surprise and have 4 games on my system out of the box, but I would be up to date with everyone else for the rest, I absolutely, without a question, would have chosen that and just written it off. I hate the fact that there should just be a universal calendar for it.
I'm not sure when I'm getting mine. I'm in the second batch. I should have everything unlocked, in my opinion. I should not have to wait to play the games everyone else.
And I understand they want you to take the time with these games, but I feel like people.
Well, if I don't want to play, the games, what if I don't want to do it?
I know, but that's the point. It's to make you interact with the games, even if you don't like them, to see if you can find something
But
fun.
if they're already out and I know what's out there,
sure,
just give them to me.
yes. So, anyways, that's it. I'm really, really happy with it. I was starting to get kind of bummed during the slow rollout about it. I was not happy about the second. I know. I was not happy about the second round of influencer units going out. But getting a completed product in your hand, that is everything that was promised to you.
Yes.
Does a lot to fix all that. So I'm very, very happy with it.
For 180, 24 games, it's well made.
200 is the package with the case.
The case, the magnetic case. Yeah. No, I like it. I'll see. I'll try to, if I get mine, I'll look at it in like dark and see if I have any. I mean, yeah, you're right. If you're in bed playing it, yeah, you might have an issue, but I think it's fine. I think it's fine.
So yeah, I enjoy it. I'm really excited to see what comes out of it. I hope to see more very creative, quirky, short things come out of it. Mm-hmm. I might even look into the SDK and look into making games for myself.
Oh, okay. All right, Ian.
So
all right. Well, thanks for the review, and hopefully I get mine in the next, I don't know, 3 months, 4 months. We don't know.
What order number are you?
Like 21,000 or so. 20.
Okay, so you're in the second batch by only a little bit.
Yeah. So we'll see.